Good morning. It's me, Pro from Pearl in the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our outside world. So, the people around us, the things we're trying to manifest, our environment. It's all just going to reflect our own energy. And if we want to see changes in our interactions and in the way that we are experiencing others, we really need to shift this energy first within ourselves. Okay, we're going to do divine masculine first today because he had one more card showing than divine feminine. So he goes first, and it's looking interesting. Okay. Top of the deck, overall forefront of the mind for divine masculine is the 10 of Wands. And he is definitely ready to put down a very heavy burden. So unburdening himself. And he's thinking a lot about, first of all, how he really wants to do this because he's exhausted by having carried this weight for so long. So he's really thinking like that he wants to do it. He's also thinking about the actual way that this is going to unfold, or how best to drop this burden. Sometimes there's not really a good way. You just let everything crash to the ground kind of thing. So he's trying to figure this out. But he feels consuming his mind is this need to unburden and make a rather large communication. Excuse me. And the niggling thing in the back of his mind is the Page of Cups in reverse. So what we have him underlying kind of all of these feelings of unburdening, we see that he wants to unburden himself from this energy he feels of this true love, that he wants to get it off his chest. He wants to reveal what's in this cup, basically pour the cup out. And if we see any resistance at all to Page of Cups energy, it's simply he doesn't want to appear immature or awkward, or he wants to have achieved a full maturation in the expression of what it is that he wants to unburden. But it's also, I think, part of what he wants to communicate. Part of the burden is that he has felt so inadequate in his ability to express. And so just like he doesn't feel like he has acted the way that he should in regards to how he shows love and affection. He's been lacking in this way. And he wants to, first of all, stop doing this to himself. Stop denying true love to himself. And also he wants to be able to just release any of this, I think, guilt, because the song that came on today, if you follow me on Tuned in Tarot on my Instagram account, I post a time-lapse shuffle with the songs that play during a shuffle. And during his shuffle, I was listening to a song called Guilty. So there's also to this wanting to release the feelings of guilt he has in regards to withholding, to not really being mature in how he handled his expression, all those kinds of things. But he's ready. The 10 of Wands is here because we're at this moment of completion, which does track with the reading I did yesterday with Positive Tarot Wisdom, which we do a live forecast reading on Thursdays. And when I did that reading, there was a completion for today. There was a World card came up twice on my side, and it also came up on Eric's side. So we're seeing a completion energy, and Divine Masculine is feeling it. And for him, the completion cycle would be to initiate this unburdening. First thing on his mind. Oh, that was a message for me. First thing on his mind is that he wants to celebrate this reunion. Now, the reason why I feel that horn went off at that moment is because I thought for a second, is this third party energy? And the horn was like, stop. No, it is not. It is about divine feminine. It's time to party energy. This has got no other outside energy in it. It is just really about the reunion and celebration, because divine masculine knows that as he unburdens himself of this information and expresses this true love, embraces himself in this, you know, state that they're both in, they're going to be able to celebrate and have a really nice time. That's definitely going to happen. The next thing on his mind is the star, and it's upright because he wants to reveal this divine feminine aspect of self by being vulnerable, by expressing his feelings. And he wants to also, in so doing this, then thereby illuminate or bring light to what was hidden in regards to his actual divine feminine as a physical manifestation. So his specific iteration of the divine feminine energy that's outside of himself, as he reveals what is in his cup and unburdens what is in his cup and reveals his feelings and his emotions and his divine feminine aspects, he will also be able to reveal this actual specific iteration. And finally, we see him trusting himself, because the high priestess has been haunting him for the last few days, and she was in her reversal. And today we are seeing upright balance between masculine and feminine aspects of self, trusting of the heart space, union between head and heart. His divine feminine is the goddess of the moon. There's this fertility, creativity, the secrets that he has, all the secrets he has, he rest in divine feminine. He trusts her, he trusts himself, and he feels like she's trusting him. And then we're seeing the Six of Pentacles, and it is in its reversal, clarifying the Three of Cups. So the only thing that the third party energy aspect of the Three of Cups represents is that some aspect of third party energy had at some point been blocking this reciprocation. But the celebration that we're seeing today suggests to me that this isn't about a block of reciprocation. This is, he's holding back reciprocating because Seven of Swords. Now, you can see when I first pulled these cards, I was like, what the fuck? Three of Cups and the Seven of Swords, and like, no. But then as I really looked at it, I was like, oh, no. Because we're not keeping anything hidden. We're revealing what has been hidden. We're revealing the strategy. We're revealing probably the deception that's been in here, which is what he wants to unburden himself in regards to. But the reason that he's in this, he's holding back the Six of Pentacles, which is this generosity and benevolence, etc., and this sharing of with divine feminine equally. The only reason he's holding back is because he has a surprise. He wants to surprise this divine feminine. He's going to reveal her, so it's not about what he's keeping hidden at all. He is in his integrity right now. He has made his choice, right? No longer in a standstill, no longer like, if I choose this, and if I choose that. He doesn't care. He made his choice. He's choosing divine feminine. He's trusting her. He's trusting himself. He wants to have that balance within himself. And because of that, he gets to have this iteration, material manifestation of a divine feminine. And so he is choosing her. By choosing to follow his heart with that high priestess energy, we arrive at the divine feminine. Therefore, the overall feeling of his heart space is the Ace of Wands. So he is honoring his heart's desire completely. His whole heart is consumed with the passion that he has. This is also clarifying the 10 of Wands. So we see this one, like the ace cycle, the beginning and the ending, the communication. It's like his heart, there was a spark inside of him when he first set his eyes on an actual iteration of divine feminine energy, something that he intends to manifest, a career, abundance, whatever it is that you're here for these readings for. You allow that feeling to, that spark, to become a fire. And it's now something that you're ready to bring completion to. There's also a lot of sexual energy and magnetic energy going on. Really exciting. The niggling feeling in the heart space is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this is finally bringing divine feminine out of the cold. I think there was even something in the lyrics, and I was like, oh my god, because it was when this card came out. Let me see. Da-da-da-da. I don't know. There was something about bringing you out of the cold, literally those lyrics in the first song, Guilty. I'll have to try to find it later. But regardless, there's wanting to finally move out of this lack mentality, this lack energy that divine masculine has been in, and move finally passionately towards his heart's desire, which is the Queen of Wands. She's in reverse. And so there's an interesting, I have this interesting sensation with this reading when I was, or with this shuffle when I was doing these cards, where when she came out in reverse, I was surprised. So I feel like the reversal is about how magnetic divine feminine is, what a pull, how she has such an extreme pull over him. So there's that. The other thing I think we're seeing is that there is another feminine energy, a third party perhaps, not a problem, but someone who's not going to be happy. So divine masculine's desire is to be with his Queen of Wands in her divine feminine iteration, which would be his twin, basically, his match. And this celebration that he's planning, he does sense there will be some not so happy people in regards to what he's about to do. But he's following his heart's desire, so it doesn't matter to him. He's also just hoping that divine feminine herself is going to be able to, because she has emotional reactivity. She can get upset. He's, Page of Cups energy also, I should mention, usually contains an apology. So if he's having to apologize, if he's having to confess to her about deception, and he's bringing this and revealing this, etc., he could be looking at having some less than pleased energy coming from divine feminine. So he has some fear about that too. We have the Nine of Wands, but it is in reverse because the healing that he has been doing in this isolation, during this period of isolation, the process has reached its completion. We've gone from the Nine of Wands to the 10 of Wands, right? The star energy that we should also mention, outside of just wanting to reveal what is hidden and allow the divine feminine aspect of self, it's also a card about the healing that is being done in this divine feminine energy. The pouring of the unconscious into the material. It's about hope also. And so he has persevered. He has basically focused on this divine feminine as his star and persevered through the healing that he needed to do. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles today for him upright. So it was in its reverse yesterday, and it's moved into the upright position, clarified now by this, or clarifying rather, this High Priestess card. So he's trusting in the abundance that he's able to create from following his passions. He's trusting that what he is, the work that he has done in that healing, in that time of healing, is really paying off and has actually unblocked him, because we've got Five of Wands energy in reverse, which is a lot of wands. There's a lot of communication, a lot of action in this spread. And this is clarifying the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Three of Cups. So we're seeing unblocking of the third party energy, unblocking of any of the anything that was in there that was keeping him from moving forward towards divine feminine. He is trusting that he has done this work and that what he has created in the material is going to help unblock this path to this Queen of Wands that he's been unable to be able to get to. We have strength. And this is what's clarifying the Seven of Swords. So he's trusting right now that he's unblocked himself, that he can trust also in this eternal aspect of their relationship. He's trusting in divine feminine strength. He's to endure this sly energy a bit longer so that he can give her this surprise, because this is now not about hiding any kind of negative thing from divine feminine. It's honestly just really wanting to surprise her, show her how much he's changed. Like he wants her to be shocked. And he's trusting she's got enough strength to endure this just a little bit longer. Oh my God, fucking more wands, Jesus. We've got the Five of Swords upright, clarifying the Two of Swords, and then we've got a lot of feelings. So the Five of Swords is a card that's about, it can be about accepting defeat. It's about fighting for sure. You're fighting. You might be tired of fighting and you're accepting defeat in regards to something. It can also be about not wanting to accept defeat, especially sometimes if I feel it in its reversal energy. Divine masculine is having over feeling. So we're looking at the choice that had to be made and that he accepted defeat in regards to. Basically, he could have chosen to keep fighting his urge, his desire to reveal what has been hidden. This is the King of Cups in reverse. Now, this is a king who is pouring out everything in his cups. He's no longer, sitting solidly in that silence. I guess I had to do an alliteration there. Refusing to speak because he doesn't want to upset anyone. So he had to choose between fighting against this or finally putting down this burden. And we know what he chose because the forefront of the mind is that this Ten of Wands is no longer in its reverse. He has chosen to put down this burden and communicate to divine feminine everything that has been hidden from her. And it's not really any shock to me that we see the Page of Cups in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse, because we do see the Page energy graduating, maturing into the level of the King. But that King of Cups has to be able to express. So he has to release any of the shadow traits that King has. Okay. Divine Feminine. Let us see where you are at today. I decided I wanted to do a really colorful reading, so I went with all my more colorful decks. All right. Top of the deck, Divine Feminine, overall headspace. With the Mystic Mondays, the Princess of Wands energy in reverse. So this is Page of Wands energy. We saw this energy yesterday, and we saw that it was shifty yesterday. It was up, it was down, because she was like, how excited. I shouldn't get too excited. But I'm like really excited, but I should not get too excited. I should not get too excited. She's excited. Something really new is happening. She's also sensing that these gestures that were once small, not going to be so small anymore. So there's this too for herself. She's like, from my own personal experience, I set up with my assistant on Monday, like who helps me with my schedule. I told her what it was that I wanted to do this week. And we kind of planned it out loosely. And then when I woke up on Tuesday, it was all on my calendar. And I touched it and was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And we had planned very deliberately for certain days to be production days because I was having a lot of resistance to working on my record. And I wanted to like lightly encourage myself to be a little more consistent. And so we chose 3 days. And then yesterday I worked on production all day and it wasn't one of my days. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what I always used to do when I was excited and interested in something and not focused completely entirely on a specific iteration of the divine masculine. So cool. Glad I'm not doing that anymore. And also making much larger gestures. Doing 3 days honestly would have been a large gesture for me because I've been doing a lot of like 1 day a week kind of stuff. I do lots of other things, self. Please don't be like that. It's not that I'm not doing a shit ton of other things. It's just I wasn't prioritizing my passion, but I've stopped doing this thing where I'm making these small gestures and instead I'm really showing myself that this passion I have for something is important to me and that I do want to allow myself to have the success with what it is that I desire. So I'm letting myself do that. So that is what's going on for her in her headspace. She's realizing her own small gestures are graduating to much larger gestures, and she's no longer stagnating because of this. And as we know how the mirror works, we should see this reflected back. And then there's this element too of her being like, okay, do not get too excited here. Like, just stay cool. Like, just stay cool. Then in the niggling thing in the back of her mind, we have the hermit energy. So this is underlying everything. And it's a little, I feel as she's a little bothered. She's waiting and she's alone. This hermit card in the deck, I always get the sense, I know that this is a card about soul searching and going within and allowing yourself to be guided by that light from the star, which the hermit holds in the lantern. And you soul search and you kind of figure out what's going on, etc., inside of yourself. But when we look at this card from the Mystic Mondays deck, I always just think about how there's this isolated feminine staring out this window, waiting. And divine feminine, this is underlying everything, and it's difficult energy to have to endure. So she's trying to embody the light that comes from being in isolation. She keeps trying to remind herself, are you really going to be able to do this for this, like when this other person is around? You know, are they going to like want to sit here while you watch this show? And no. Are they, you know, like she's trying to like, while she's uncomfortable in this feeling, she's trying to like find the things that are positive about it so she doesn't spiral into like, I'm alone. She's trying to also be good on her own as well and not need to have a divine masculine iteration energy around her in order for her to feel whole. So that's underlying everything. She's like, okay, I'm waiting, but I need to be comfortable waiting because I need to be comfortable on my own because there's a lot of great things about being on my own. I like myself. That reminds me of in Amadeus when Salieri is being interviewed at first and he's like, I like myself. I was like, the first thing on her mind is the Knight of, I don't know why. I called him in the reading yesterday. I called the Knight of Swords. I called his ass the King of Swords. Today I'm about to call the King of Swords the Knight of Swords. I don't know why. This is the king. He's the king of the swords. And she's thinking about him. And I feel normally when we're seeing it in this reverse, we're thinking a lot about his shadow traits, his cold, he's icy, cold, aloof, etc. But I actually don't feel that energy. I'm not feeling like a, wow, fuck this noise from this guy. It's more of maybe that he's releasing that she's not experiencing the cold aloofness so much. But I do think she's kind of questioning his integrity just a little bit. There's still a part of her that's like, I mean, he seems good, but like, is he? But it doesn't matter because the next thing on her mind is the Nine of Pentacles. So this is self-indulgence. This is rewarding the self, but it's a reward that you've earned because you worked hard. From you take the Ace of Pentacles, you juggle a lot of things, and the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, you work hard, you collaborate. In the Four of Pentacles, you start to build the foundation. The Five of Pentacles, you're kind of dealing with issues of lack and really believing that you have enough. The Six of Pentacles, you're starting to like be benevolent and generous because you trust that that's going to be there. The Seven, you've planted it. you planted these seeds of abundance, that foundation you had, you're now able to plant it, and then you're very carefully nurturing it and allowing it to grow. The Eight of Pentacles is where you're really finally starting to see yourself working hard on those passions, and the abundance that comes from that passion results in your ability to now reward yourself with this Nine of Pentacles energy. Now, traditionally in OG Smith Waite, we're seeing a divine feminine who's the center of the Nine of Pentacles. But for the Mystic Mondays deck, we're seeing the peacock, because the peacock does represent this masculine energy for divine feminine. And the divine feminine image in the OG Nine of Pentacles is like beautiful. She's single. She's fabulous. She's got that kind of an energy. So divine feminine is in her energy, in her single energy. This way we see her in her hermit energy. So we know she's single. She's not worried about anyone else. She's focused more on her own coin right now, her own material abundance and satisfaction. But the peacock energy we're seeing in this card is about her divine masculine. So she's seeing this King of Swords energy, releasing these icy aloof traits, and finally stepping into this role where he's like showing off for her, and really just he seems like a really good prize right now to her. Next thing on her mind is this Princess of Cups energy. So we have now the Page of Cups as well. For divine feminine, it is upright. She is fully embodying this Page of Cups energy in her headspace. True love, innocence, kind of a feeling of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just going to be like, okay, like, whatever. Like, she's just like, whatever. Really kind of like in that full feeling of puppy love. She's comfortable here. Divine masculine, not so comfortable. He doesn't like it as much. She loves this divine masculine when he is in this energy. Like she pictures him like not being able to stop smiling, and she's like, oh God, I love that, you know, that kind of thing. So she's comfortable, he's not, but they're both in this energy. And I also think too, because divine masculine he feels this guilt or something that he's got to apologize, because he's feeling like this need to unburden, whereas divine feminine is really feeling open to receiving any kind of apology. She's feeling just that true love that she would forgive anything. The Ace of Swords, upright. So we have the Ace of Wands for divine masculine, his heart's desire. Divine feminine, in the headspace, we're getting air energy, which is appropriate for the headspace. And it is about her seeing the truth. Like, because when we see the Ace of Swords, it's definitely about taking a look within oneself and seeing the truth of an experience. It's about new ideas. It's about getting clarity about your future. And it's clarifying this King of Swords. So I think what we see is the King of Swords in his reversal, as releasing these shadow traits, is really something new. For him to stop being aloof and cold and just be consistently expressing to her feels like new energy. And she's realizing that it is because she has been doing this, releasing her own coldness. Here's the Queen of Swords in reverse to match the King. These two energies leaving: protective energy, defensive energy, strategic, cutting, manipulative, calculating. Those things have kept them in the cold. Now, normally when I get an extra card, because this is an extra card, I read it at the end in the last placement, but it didn't belong. It came out attached to this Queen of Swords, the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And where did we see that energy? We saw it in divine masculine's heart space. It's the niggling feeling, bringing divine feminine out of the cold. And divine feminine is realizing that he's thinking about that. She's realizing that he's planning to come out of the shadow traits of the King of Swords. And consequently, she is also leaving the shadow traits of the Queen of Swords and welcoming the divine masculine energy. she's indulging in this true love she feels so that this couple can be finally reunited. The final thing in her headspace is the Tower in reverse. So this is what is clarifying this Page of Cups energy. And I think what I'm seeing is sometimes when we see the Tower in reverse, we're seeing an energy that's like, there's really nothing you can do to rebuild the Tower. But I don't feel that strongly today. I think what we're seeing is the same reason we're seeing King and Queen of Swords in this release energy. We're seeing the effects of Tower moments that caused fear and anxiety in regards to this true love. We're seeing that being cut away and released. So these Tower moments between them are not going to occur anymore. She's staying heart-centered. She's staying in that innocent, heart-centered space and releasing any desire to block or frustrate this divine masculine's journey towards her. Top of the deck, overall heart space for her, Knight of Pentacles. The slowest moving knight in the deck, but I feel no resistance to this energy, particularly because the niggling feeling in her heart space is the Five of Swords, which we already looked at in Divine Masculine's heart space in Union. So Divine Masculine, for him, it was about a choice he had to make to either be defeated by these feelings that he has, and be defeated by the battles he was fighting against third-party energy, or unburden himself completely, put down his burdens and reveal what is in his heart and tell Divine Feminine how he feels. And we know that he's chosen to put down his burdens. Divine Feminine is feeling that she is accepting defeat. She is not fighting anymore this motion forward, whether it's slow and steady, she doesn't care anymore. She is not fighting it. She knows that this is the most solid and stable and consistent offer in the deck. All the other knights cannot hold a coin to this knight. Even if he's slow, methodical, plotting, and he's like that because he's so overly cautious, whatever, even if it's annoying, she's realizing that this knight is the knight that is going to show up. And so she is comfortable with that. She is settled into this in her heart space. And now she feels justice. In regards to this King of Swords energy, we feel that the scales are balanced in her heart space. She doesn't feel he owes her any apologies anymore for the behavior either, because she's showing that it's just a reflection of her own behavior. So the justice that she was seeking a few months back when we were on that justice card, it's arrived. She's experienced it. She's done this for herself, and she feels that the way that Divine Masculine has behaved has been fair, because it has, in fact, been balanced. It wasn't imbalanced. She was in her defensive, cutting energy, being afraid, being calculating, and Divine Masculine was doing the same thing. And Divine Feminine is realizing that the scales have always been balanced between them. She's releasing any of this past, these feelings. The Six of Cups is about reunion, but we're not seeing it because we're not going to experience the reunion. On the contrary, we are experiencing the reunion now. That's being conveyed by the next card. But we are experiencing her releasing past energy that she associated with this Divine Masculine. The Nine of Pentacles energy, the self-indulgence kind of thing. She's releasing fears and worries about him being too self-indulgent. She used to be in this constant state of like, I miss you. And she's realizing that she doesn't feel that way at all. She doesn't necessarily physically get to touch him or see him or hear from him that often, but she doesn't feel like she misses him. It's like she already has him because she found him in herself. That was her reward. Her reward in focusing on herself and balancing and paying attention to her own craft and developing her confidence and expressing herself and all these things that she's been doing, that was her real reward. So she found him. How can you miss someone that you found inside of yourself? So she doesn't miss him anymore. She feels excited for him to come. The feeling of longing has dissipated. And it's really now more this patience. Because this Four of Cups, which we saw yesterday, where the divine feminine had been focused on these fantasies, what had happened in the past, these 3 cups here, without realizing, and she's looking for the 4th cup. She's like, everyone else has 4 cups, but I only have 3 cups. Why? And she'd been focusing on that and trying to figure that out. Like, why does this, what? And then all the while she's inside of the 4th cup. She herself is that 4th cup. And that 4 of Cups energy, which is about, it's about meditation and contemplation, coming to this realization of the self and ego and the different layers of self, all of those kinds of things. It's usually about pausing, and it can be about fantasizing and being caught and trapped and lost in fantasy. But really, we're seeing that this Page of Cups energy is this innocent delight she feels at discovering she's her own cup. And the understanding she has received from meditation and contemplation that this is a grounding energy, that now that she is this vessel, this other vessel can match her. We have the 10 of Cups in reverse again. Now she keeps getting this 10 of Cups in reversal, which I think is interesting because it's your spiritual fulfillment card. But when it's in its reversal, that means there's something that's like, well, it can mean, it doesn't mean across the board, but it can mean that there's something a little bit like you can't quite attain it, or you're not really trusting in it, or maybe you don't know what it's composed of entirely. You don't have clarity about it. So her headspace has gained clarity about what truly encompasses her spiritual fulfillment. The best way I can describe this is this thing that we've been talking about recently a lot, where we realize that when we want something, we want it purely because we think we're going to feel better when we get it, which means that the thing that we want represents for us, like we give that the power to make us feel better. But really, we have something going on, some kind of a wound, some kind of a lack, some kind of a deficiency that we're perceiving. And we think if we get this thing, then that deficiency feeling is going to go away, because it obviously is because I feel sad because I'm alone and I don't have a partner. And if I have a partner, then I won't feel like that anymore. Obviously, and I'll have sex and I'll be able to like watch movies and like go on dates and like it's gonna be fucking great. But then what happens is you do that, you start doing that, and it's not great. And you're like, well, clearly it's not great because this other person isn't the one or whatever, so it must just be that. And then you start it all over again. And this could be with the same person. It doesn't mean you have to do this with a bunch of different people. It could be with the same individual. You keep being like, I love this person, I'm going to be with them. And then they start to show their love for you. And you're like, yeah, but why do I still feel bad? And so you blame it on some aspect of what's going on. In my personal experience, all I've ever wanted all my life was for this divine masculine to notice me. He notices me a lot. And then I'm like, wait, is he noticing me? And then I can't believe that that it's about me. So then I spend like years trying to be able to figure that out. Like, is it me? Then I think to myself, if I just knew that it was me, then I would feel better. Then he's like, it's you. And I'm like, oh shit, it is me. But I'm still alone. So now I just feel like, great, now it's me, but I still can't be with you. So I still feel bad, right? And that just keeps going. It just keeps going until you get to the root of the thing that made you need to be noticed to begin with. What was that? I don't know. It was probably something from when you were a kid. Once you go to that place and find that trigger and find that wound and you take a look at it and you get clarity about it and you realize, oh, the reason why this isn't working is because I keep telling myself that I'm lacking something that external thing can give me. But that's never true. I've proved it over and over and over. When I get that thing I'm convinced is going to make me feel better, it doesn't. Why? Because I'm after something ineffable. I'm after something that is about the essence of what I need, not about how it's fulfilled. And if I can meet my own needs through figuring out what that essence of my spiritual fulfillment is, I will never be alone again. I will never be unhappy. I will never feel that bad feeling that I've been feeling. I will be whole. And it won't be because of this other person. And then when I make myself whole, then I really have something to offer to somebody. We're going to have a pretty great time. Really, because I'm a whole person without them. And I get to give my whole self to them, and they give their whole self to me. And then we experience each other on a whole other level. 8 of Cups. Following that 10 of Cups in reverse, where she's getting clarity about how she blocked her spiritual fulfillment. How'd she do it? Well, like this. She kept herself in the cold because she was so fucking terrified and made this like whole huge defensive thing. Because what would happen is every time she would get a sense that divine masculine was coming towards her, she had limiting beliefs. It was either like, is it me? Or it is me, but like, when is it going to be? Is it going to be a million years from now? I just, whatever it was that would cause her to consistently put up these defenses. And the defenses were merely to protect herself from her spiritual fulfillment. They were to protect herself from feeling foolish, from feeling humiliated, like whatever it is. And she's walking away from those behaviors because it has not served her. She has to go towards the higher calling, the essence of the spiritual fulfillment, which isn't about the specific iteration of a person. And then, what is clarifying the Tower in reverse? The Tower, upright. So her heart feels a huge shift, a huge change coming, and fully capable of rebuilding what she has walked away from. When you walk away, you're walking away from the pieces of the tower, right, that don't serve you. You're releasing everything that was not helpful in that tower. And then you can rebuild. You can start fresh. And so she's releasing that energy of those past towers. She's embracing the change, the shock that comes from allowing yourself to crumble and be reborn. Okay, let's look at the oracles. We have Divine Masculine. You're in the shadow act. No, you're not. This card came out again, and it was in reverse last time, and I have the same feeling I have this time. This is about coming out of hermit energy. So you've been withdrawing from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, and you've been refusing to help those in need. You need to come out of solitude now. Your 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Bring divine feminine out from the cold and come out of this hermit energy. You're in the shadow attributes of the Knight, which is an allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle and romantic delusions. And you need to call in the light, which is loyalty, romance, and chivalry, and a love of honor. So part of the reason why you're withdrawing is you have there's some energy, this allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle. There's some energy in there, a destructive energy that has a hold over you. I don't think this is so much about romantic delusions. A lot of times when we see this card for you, it is, but I don't sense that it's about that right now. I just feel that you are having a fear, or you are having some kind of allegiance to something that's destructive, and you're just getting a message or a warning about that. come into that light, which is loyalty, romance, chivalry, and a love of honor. So you want to do something, you want to be honorable right now. St. Catherine of Alexandria is here to support you in marriage. So I feel for you, divine masculine, because of this next card, which is freedom in reverse, and the fact that there was an allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, you're getting messages about how you have this freedom now to move towards a new sacred union. You might have had a past legal contract that you felt this allegiance to, and it might be from that person's romantic delusions also about you, that you still feel like you have some, that they have some kind of a control over you to a certain extent. But you're getting this emphasis on this message that you have freedom from this past contract. You have freedom to move towards a new contract, which is what you do desire. And St. Catherine is supporting you in that energy of transitioning from this karmic situation into something that is into what you truly desire. When I lean toward love, I am led. So just keep leaning even towards that destructive energy. Just go lean towards love and allow that to lead you through the steps that you need to take to be completely free from that energy. When I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. That's the same meaning. Love is your primary teacher. It guides you right where you need to go. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams. All these 3 cards came out. So trust in that Page of Cups energy. Allow this energy to lead you. Be led by the innocence and purity of this energy rather than the jaded energy of the matured version of that card. You got the Star and the 7 of Swords. Show the world the real you. They're gonna love it. Guarantee you. You're gonna be surprised. You're very, 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 very close to achieving your goal. So just hang in there. You are so, so very close to this. Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. This was emphasized. Don't forget this, that you are doing 2 things, channeling and uplifting humanity. In those 2 things that I described, I didn't hear anything about partnering up with a physical material manifestation and, just partying for your whole life. That's not what you're meant to do. You are meant to come together and channel and uplift humanity. You are getting the nightingale spirit, which is love is all around, and you're really, really called to this message right now. In the darkness of night, nightingale spirit sings her song of love and hope, a harbinger of dawn to remind you that the sun will rise again soon. You are so loved, and the illumination song of the nightingale spirit calls you to a new level of self-awareness and connection with the light. Yes, there is shadow and darkness, but love and prosperity exist everywhere, even in the seeming emptiness of space, darkness, and a starless night. Hearken to the message, letting the music of the nightingale's song remind you that love is all around. Feel it and trust in tomorrow's light, renewing your ability to recognize that the spaces that appear empty are filled with love and abundance. Illumination will happen soon. I think that's clear based on this reading. All right, divine and feminine. Now, how about you? You're in the shadow attributes of the athlete. So, I see a false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. I'm surprised at this energy. I'm drawn to the development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. I think you need to trust more. This initial conversation we had about the Page of Wands in reverse, where you were making small gestures and you really wanted to start making bigger gestures towards what it is that you desired. So I think this is about developing that willpower that's keeping you from kind of these ineffective sort of actions and bringing you into much more effective actions with more stability and solidity, more heart-centered. So you need to come into the light there and lose any false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. You're getting Samaritan energy also in its shadow attributes. So exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. So you might just be feeling a little bit like of that old energy where you just want to make sure that you're receiving, your due regard for like what it is that you do, for the hard work that you do, for this union in regards to divine masculine. Like maybe you're just trying, your entitlement and exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. There's just a little bit of shadow here you need to work on. This seems like ego stuff to me. Like, I deserve to be treated this way. This is how I deserve to be treated. And it's like, okay, sure. Everyone does, though. So if you deserve to be treated this way, are you doing that for yourself? Or are you expecting other people to do that for you? Are you feeling entitled to receive these things from others? Your guardian angel is here to support you with stress management right now. You might be under a lot of stress. We've got the Tower for you, so you could be you're most likely in an uncomfortable space. We saw the Hermit card with isolation and still being there, and that kind of underlying everything, and so that can be stressful. So just make sure you're doing those self-caring things that help keep you from spiraling. And if you can engage in stress management activity that really, really makes you feel good or better, try to include that every single day. You're getting this financial health card. And I think that this is really about, you're now coming to a point where you're very magnetic, you're very attractive, and also not just physically in appearance, but in attracting what it is that you desire. So you're coming into a time where your financial health is fully recovering, but it's still recovering, and you're recovering from past behaviors. And you're also stepping into a new level of abundance that is like much larger than what you've ever experienced. So you want to be careful going forward, and maybe take some time to do a little bit of research about when your wealth increases to such an extent, about what that feels like, about what happens. Look for expansive stories about people who came into a lot of money and then managed it really well. Because you're coming from a lack mentality that you've been working on there. And as you start to experience abundance, it will be very difficult not to return to this lack mentality if you don't consistently have new beliefs replacing the limiting ones, because you had a bunch of limiting ones, like about why you couldn't be wealthy, whatever. But now you have to invite new beliefs about financial health in order to maintain this stability. So look for stories about people who came into a lot of money and managed it extremely well, grew their abundance, and consistently maintained that wealth from whatever passion that you have that's similar to what it is that you want to do. You can also look at people who had lost that abundance and then got it back. But what you're wanting to see is consistent stories of people that are as close to you as possible. If they can be the same race, the same gender, the same field, like as close as possible, or very, very, very close to what you're like. That helps your brain form a new pathway that's like, oh, people like me can do that thing. That is why issues about diversity, seeing people doing everything, no matter what they look like, just because they're trying to advertise something to us, but everyone, you're creating a system whereby people who did not ever see images of people like them achieving, accomplishing, experiencing love, experiencing romance, experiencing abundance, whatever, It's difficult for you then to hold that space for yourself. And the people who had to do it before them are truly pioneers because they're holding the space for something that is not the collective experience yet. And there's some expander in those pioneering people's lives that have showed them how to get where they need to go. So go and look up those stories. Find stories about people in your field with a lot of financial health and well-being. Not the stories about people losing everything and whatever, but the ones about people gaining and staying consistently fulfilled. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. Yes, you do. You absolutely do, Divine Feminine. Continue doing this. If you haven't been uncomfortable today, I'm sorry for you, because every time you're uncomfortable and you can sit with it, you're expanding and you're growing. Prosperity lies ahead. With that financial health card coming out, I am telling you, the abundance that is coming, I think, is going to be shocking to you. There could be a move here as well with this Tower card. There's a shocking amount of change on the horizon. But don't worry, you are not alone, right? This underlying feeling of loneliness that's coming from the Hermit energy here, you are not alone. The keepers of the earth are with you. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Divine Feminine, take a leap of faith. This is like Fool energy from the Colette Baron Reed deck. This is Grasshopper Spirit. Right now, you are poised to jump up into the next level of your life and move forward into something even better than you could ever imagine. When Grasshopper Spirit appears, it is a fortuitous time to take a leap into the unknown. For Grasshopper Spirit represents the innovative spirit that says, why not? And has faith in the powers of co-creation. You're being called to trust that this is the right time to go with that idea, relationship, or situation. Take risks, for abundance in all forms will show up for you. Wondrous things happen. Await when Grasshopper Spirit appears. You're not going to go backward, so listen to your intuition rather than your fearful ego that resists any change and clings worriedly to what was. Luck is on your side. Jump up and forward with confidence, for Spirit has so much in store for you if you only take that leap. Wow. Okay, cool beans. Let's look at the bottom of the deck for the union. These are the things that you are in union in regards to. I love when you get this one. You are both in the energy of the lovers. You have a great passion and devotion to one another and an unbridled appreciation of each other. Stay there. It is good. You found it. I don't need to say anything else. Protection. This is Empress energy too. But you, right now, you need to protect your world. You need to protect this vision. You need to nurture it, bring it to its fulfillment. Don't let anyone sidetrack you from being able to birth this new creation. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I manifest. Continue to focus with unbridled appreciation. Surrender to the divine. This is a straightforward end of the reading. Surrender to the divine. Just allow this energy to continue. And then we're getting Squirrel Spirit. Believe in yourself. And we're getting the protection message of this card. The unpredictability of life can shake your confidence in yourself and your potential for handling the challenges that come your way. Does the thought of not having enough or being enough make you squirrely? Have you forgotten all your strengths, wisdom, and resources? You've come so far on your wits and creativity, making use of all your potential and all that Spirit presents you to help you through life's trying times. It's time to look back on your life and remember how your needs have always been met for the highest good, even in your most challenging times. Life loves you, and so many treasures are hidden in plain sight, ready to be revealed when you most need them, so relax. Squirrel Spirit wants you to know you are poised and ready for whatever is coming next. So trust in yourself and trust that Spirit has your back. Hey, that is a really lovely way to close the reading. Let's pull a goddess card for the goddess practice that we're doing to try to balance out divine feminine energy in the collective. We spend a lot of time focused on masculine energy. And so we are wanting to tune in to the divine feminine energy. You do this by putting 2 hands over your heart at some point today for 15 minutes, repeating the mantra, my heart is the heart of the goddess. You can picture any divine feminine energy that resonates with you at all, including your own self looking fabulous, fabulous in all of your feminine glory. Doesn't matter what you picture. It's just the idea that you're allowing that feminine energy to have equal respect and honor in your heart space. And then we just look at these cards from the Goddess Knowledge deck. So we can see the different goddesses that have existed throughout time and across cultures. Today we're looking at Hathor, a nourishing great mother goddess, the Egyptian mother of all gods and goddesses, usually portrayed as a cow. She's a sky goddess, the queen of the heavens. The sun emerges from her womb and the moon from her breast. She is the goddess of love, mirth, beauty, and sensual pleasure, as well as the protectress of all women. In her other guise shown here, she is Lady of the Night and Queen of the Underworld. With her lion's head, Hathor assumes the role of destroyer and giver of death. In her leopard skin, she is the goddess of fate and fortune, and typifies the ferocity and swiftness of this animal, a night prowler and watcher. Hathor is a strong embodiment of the many sides of existence. Creator, sustainer, destroyer, she encompasses all. Hathor reminds us that we too must acknowledge all parts of ourselves, that what we might call destructive is sometimes necessary to allow our creativity and compassion to flourish. That's that tower energy being necessary. All right, we have reached the end of the reading. Somehow, surprisingly, at all around an hour, which is just an accomplishment for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a really lovely day today. Please like, subscribe, share, follow me on Tuned In Tarot so you can see when I'm going live. And also, if you're interested in my musical endeavors, you can find me at Pearl and the Prayers. I am completing my record over the next 19 weeks now. It must be released, so I will finish it soon. Anyway, if you're interested in staying up to date with all of that process, then please follow me at Pearl and the Prayers on the Instagrams. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day today. I shall see you here tomorrow morning on Tuned In Tarot. Take care.